I would like to see my daughter more than one weekend out of the month.
Answer the question, please. That's
What do
not what
you?
he asked.
I'm having trouble understanding.
Enjoy the video, hit the like button.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is a partial agreement. The state is requesting to read into the record what has been agreed to by the parties. The parties agreed that the non-custodial parent shall be established as the father of the child here in this matter. There has been no issues relating to family violence. There's no request for non-disclosure. The non-custodial parent to continue to carry the insurance for the child through his employer. The non-custodial parent is currently employed with an annual income at or about $73,068. The non-custodial parent has no additional children outside of this case. Based off of the father's income, the state is requesting that child support be set at $976. The parties are in agreement to a retroactive support judgment in the amount of $2,928 with a credit of $1,000 with a final judgment in the amount of $1,928. Again, that's $1,928 to be paid at $60 per month. The parties are in agreement to be named as joint managing conservators with court costs to be billed to the father. The parties do agree to a standard possession order. However, the only issue that is before the court is the issue relating to where the child shall be as changed. So at this time, Your Honor, the state would like to call the mother here in this matter. Ms. Pack, can I get you to state your name for the record?
Yes, Chloe Pack,
And the name of the child or children that we're here in reference to? And the name of the child's father.
Marcus Manley.
And did you hear what I previously read into the record as it relates to this case?
I did.
And are you in agreement with those terms that were provided to the court?
I am.
And are you requesting that the court accepts those agreements and make them part of the order today?
Yes.
And as it relates to the visitation, just to confirm, you are in agreement to the father having a standard possession order, is that correct?
Can you remind me again what that means?
Standard possession order provides that the father, if residing within 50 miles of the location that you reside, would have a visitation on the first, third, and fifth weekends of each month. Are you in agreement to that?
Does that mean we need to be within 50 miles of each other?
So you don't agree to the father having a standard possession order, ma'am?
No, I'm trying to get clarity. Like, so I understand the dates, but then I'm like, does that mean we would need to be within 50 miles because we live in separate cities
All right. And where does the father reside, ma'am?
in Austin?
So what type of visitation has the father had previously with the child?
Not very much. It would He's supposed to come get her on weekends. But it's been pretty spotty, like last minute cancellations. I would be the one mainly to drive down there or like from Dallas to Austin, or we would I would meet him in Waco a lot of times, but the majority of the time I'm the one driving back and forth, um, doing that commute on top of having her the majority of the time. It might not even be like a full weekend. So
All right. And as it relates to visitation going forward, are you requesting that the father would have to pick up and drop off the child at your home?
yes.
Just one moment. And can you provide to the court when was the last time the father had visitation with the child?
Um, I don't remember. It was probably like last month, but I was the one again to drive her down to Austin and bring her back up.
And being that the father does reside over 100 miles away, would you be in agreement to the father having the standard possession order relating to a party over 100 miles away, which would mean that the father will have possession of the child not more than one weekend per month, beginning at 6 p.m. on the time that the child is released from school?
So he would only get to see her one time a month.
Could you answer the question, ma'am?
It, I will once I understand a little bit better.
What part did you not understand, ma'am?
So I'm just want to see, like, so you mean he could only have her one time a month? If so, under that order?
As previously provided, ma'am, the standard possession order for a parent over 100 miles would be that the father will have possession of the child not more than 1 weekend per month. Would you be in agreement to the father having the visitation at not more than 1 weekend per month?
Um, sh- that's fine. Yeah, I agree.
No further question for this party, Your Honor. At this time, Your Honor, the state would like to call the father here in this matter. Sir, can I get you to state your name for the record?
Marcus Manley.
And Mr. Manley, did you hear what I previously read into the record that was agreed to by the parties?
I heard it, but I don't understand it either.
Sir, I'm only speaking about what you heard me previously read that was agreed to by the party. Are you in
Yes,
agreement to those terms only?
I'm not in agreement.
Could you explain to the court what did you previously agree to that you don't agree to at this time?
I don't agree to see my daughter 1 weekend of the whole month.
And sir, do you understand that I previously provided to the court there was not an agreement relating to visitation? The things that were agreed to were again those things that were read into the record. Of those things, other than visitation, is there anything that you don't agree to?
No,
So are you requesting that the court accepts only those things that were provided to the court that were agreed to and make them the order of the court today?
no, I don't agree to not having an decision on my child's uh, doctor visits in school.
And sir, did you hear that where I previously read that the parties agreed to be named as joint managing conservators, which means that the parties will make decisions together?
Yes,
Or are you requesting now at this time that the mother be named as sole managing conservator?
no,
Okay, so you do agree that the parties should be named as joint managing conservators, sir?
I do.
All right, as it relates to visitation, sir, when's the last time you had visitation with the child?
Last month.
And how did that visitation take place? Did you pick the child up from the mother's residence?
No, Chloe brought her to Austin.
And as it relates to the exchange location of the child, where are you requesting that the exchanges take place when visitation takes place?
Could you repeat that, please?
As it relates to visitation, sir, where are you requesting the visitation takes place? I'm sorry, where are you requesting that the exchange takes place when there is ordered visitation?
I would like to see my daughter more than 1 weekend out of the month.
Answer the question, please. That's
What do
not what
you,
he asked.
I'm having trouble understanding
He said where?
where.
Where are you requesting that the exchange takes place, sir?
Where am I requesting that these changes take place? Meaning, like, where the visitations?
Okay.
Exchange, sir. So when the parties exchange the child for visitation, where would you like that to take place? Do you want that to happen at the mother's home? Do you want that to happen at your home? Or do you want that to happen at an agreed location, sir?
Uh, the visitations, I would like my daughter to be with me at my home.
Okay. I'm going to interject here. We're not getting anywhere.
Thank you, ma'am.
Y'all aren't listening too well, and you're not, I understand y'all are not lawyers. I get that. But it's not, I mean, you need to ask these questions in the negotiation, is what I told y'all this morning. So besides visitation, everything else you have to follow to the letter. Look, the child support's going to stay the same amount. The arrears payments are going to stay the same amount. Those you cannot change outside of court. Visitation is different. Visitation is different. So if you have an agreement to do more visitation, no one's going to stand in your way. If you have an agreement to do less visitation, no one is going to stand in your way. If you have some agreement that you're going to meet halfway or meet somewhere, no one's going to get in your way. But if we don't have an agreement, then this is what visitation is. We have to have something specific in there for number one, so we have some kind of schedule for how visitation is going to work, and number two, also so that can be enforced if a person doesn't let the person visit. Okay, so it's kind of twofold, kind of a schedule, and also to enforce it if there's a problem. Um, the orders are going to have two different parts to it. It's very dependent upon where you both live. If you live under 100 miles apart, then father gets visits every other weekend. If you live over 100 miles apart, we're assuming that you cannot afford to come every other weekend. So the legislature has said, okay, in that case, then you get 1 weekend per month. If you agree and you can do more than 1 weekend a month, no one's standing in your way. But we assume that it's expensive to come back and forth to do visitation. So that's why we kind of have a standard visitation plan that you're only going to visit once a month. If you wind up wanting to agree to more, that's fine. Again, that's something you would agree to that's outside of the order, but we need to have some kind of plan. If you decide to move back to Dallas, you get the every other weekend. But as long as y'all are living far apart, then we're just doing 1 weekend a month, unless there's something different that's going on. Visitation is from Friday until Sunday. It's Friday at 6 p.m. until Sunday at 6 p.m. Again, y'all can vary the hours. So if you got to work at 5 and you can't be in Dallas at 6, then y'all work out, hey, I'm going to be there at 9. What I hear from Ms. Pack is that whatever, if y'all agree to something or if we're going to just follow only the schedule, that you show up for your visitation, that you not say, I'm going to come and then you don't come. It's very important that that you visit regularly. We want you to visit regularly, but canceling at the last minute doesn't help the child. So that's something that you'll have to kind of discuss after court. But that's kind of what our visitation plans look like. Our visitation plans say that exchanges are at mother's residence unless there's something different going on. There isn't anything different going on as far as I'm concerned. So I understand you live in Austin, Mr. Manley, but you're going to have to come up to Dallas to pick up the child from Miss Pack's residence. After you pick up the child, you can go anywhere you like. You can drive back to Austin and spend the weekend in Austin. You can hang out in Dallas. You can go on a vacation. I don't care what you do during those 3 days. It's your time. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your time. We're just we're arguing here about where you're supposed to pick up the child. Miss Pack saying I can't drive all the way to Austin every other weekend or once a month at my own cost. I don't really want to meet halfway. That's what she wants. It's reasonable. So as far as the quarter is concerned, I'm going to have it read that Miss Pack is the one to decide. Sorry, let me start over. That the visitation exchange is going to take place at Miss Pack's residence. So Mr. Manley, you have to drive up, pick up the child from her residence, bring the child back to her residence. She does not have a responsibility or obligation to take the child halfway or take the child to Austin unless she chooses to. If she chooses to and wants to do that, I leave that up to her. But if she chooses not to, that's fine too. Um, Hopefully that explained a little better what it is that we're talking about. The holidays are also split up in there as well, depending on whether you live under 100 miles or over 100 miles. Uh, Generally speaking, you get a longer summer if you live far away. So you get 42 days in the summer versus 30 days if you live here to kind of make up some of the time because y'all don't live in the same place. Um, so hopefully that explains it, but I'm not going to do a meeting halfway. I'm not going to make Miss Pack take the child to you. Um, and so that's where we are. And then if y'all want to talk after, maybe you change your mind and maybe want to meet halfway. That's up to Miss Pack. I'm not going to make that her obligation to do that. That's not fair for her to drive all the way to Austin and then have to drive all the way back. That's not fair. Um, so that's my ruling on that part. I understood that y'all agreed to everything else besides the visitation exchange, and that sounds reasonable. Sounds makes sense to me. They'll be doing an order for me to sign with all that in there, and then send out withholding orders to your employer for the payments. All right. Hopefully that explained everything there. Read the order. They're going to email you a copy after I sign it in a few days, and it should explain a little further, more details about the order. All right. Y'all are done with court. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
Thank you.